Hello, welcome back to another video where I just sit down and which is basically all my videos, but that's all I'm going to be doing today. Last year I made a video about being bisexual and it really popped off and people really seemed to like it, and it felt like, honestly, a huge weight to get off my chest. Not because I really cared about telling you guys or not, it wasn't really about you, it was more about just like being able to just say it publicly in my life. And it really, guys, it popped off. And at the end of the day, I am just hungry for those views. Am I right? Am I right? I create AI slop that y'all consume. I'm really only ever in it for the money. So that's why I'm back here for round 2, second bisexuality video. Actually though, it was the first time that I realized that like my bisexuality actually is like paying off in a big way. Like finally, like what goes around comes around, you know what I mean? Every time I felt bad about it, every time someone else made me feel bad about it, bitch. Look where I am now. Thank you for everybody who's joined since finding that video. That's actually insane that happened at all, and I'm still very grateful. But yeah, I wanted to talk about something a bit different, about kind of, I guess, going further into my experience of bisexuality. Today I wanted to address a lot of the questions and misconceptions and just misunderstandings about what bisexuality is that I tend to run into just in my life or online or whatever. Okay, I'm not sweating. I have moisturizer on. But now, because I'm like nervous about sweating, and maybe it's because I haven't recorded in a hot minute, I look like I wanted to clear the air about all these like misunderstandings and questions that people are often too afraid to ask when it comes to bisexuality and maybe not understanding it. And obviously, this is just all in my experience. I'm not a spokesperson for the bisexual community. And also my experience maybe is very privileged and maybe isn't very nuanced or whatever. I'm still a white male at the end of the day, so please take into consideration my unique personality. And you know what that's called? That's called feminist literature. Do you know what that's called? That's called intersection. It's also Pride Month, okay? Congratulations to all the gay people being born this month. I'm so happy for you. To start off with, this is something I've been wanting to talk about just in my life in general to people who maybe don't really understand it. But I wanted to start with saying bisexuality does not mean 50-50. In the sense that it does not mean 50% women and 50% men in terms of like what you're attracted to and or like tend to be attracted to in your daily life. It is not a percentage like that. Like the name kind of makes it sound like that, but also not really. People get very confused. Bisexuality refers to just the ability or the tendency to be attracted to both genders. It does not mean that means it has to be like at equal frequencies or that you have to meet different fucking quotas, okay? Also, thinking about it, the prefix bi, which means two, a little bit closed-minded in this day and age, y'all. There are more than two sexes, so... Oh my god. Bisexuality is valid. Bisexuality is valid. It's a valid thing. Okay, guys? Just a thought, random thought I had. I found that in my personal life, when it comes to experiencing attraction to both men and women, it's never been 50-50. And sometimes that can lead to a lot of insecurity for a lot of bisexual people and anything like that, where you're not straight enough to be bisexual, you're not gay enough to be bisexual. It's like, it doesn't matter. It's not like you have to meet a quota. I justify it in the sense that I think about, I cannot be sweating like this. This is embarrassing. Why am I sweating? In terms of my experience, I've found this justification always helped me like stay firm in what I believe my sexuality to be. I've liked too many girls to be gay, and I've liked way too many guys to be straight. And that's just the fact. I think about if I only lean one way or another and I just can't do it. And that's what bisexuality is. It doesn't mean you have to like this many people or like this many people. It's not like when straight people go into a room, they are attracted to every single member of the opposite sex in that room. Right? Like that doesn't make any sense. What if they're your family or children? Okay. But also, it just doesn't work that way. You're not attracted to every single person of the attracted sex you are attracted to. So it doesn't mean that it's 50-50, and it doesn't mean it has to balance out in any kind of way. It all depends on the people that you meet, and that's all that really matters. And this also leads into something that people have, that bisexual people are more likely to cheat when in a monogamous relationship. Huh? People also often confuse what being bisexual means with what polyamory is. And obviously, like, bisexual people can be polyamorous, but it's not like they are the same thing. There is this belief, though, that even if bisexual people get into monogamous relationships, they're more likely to cheat with their partner on the opposite gender that they are of their partner. In the sense that, like kind of the point before, where they have to meet a quota. And if they decide to just stick with one person of one gender, they're not getting enough of the other gender. Huh? Obviously, like, there's situations like that. There are a few celebrity couples where if both of them asked at the same time, I would say yes. It's not like that in the sense that monogamous people are monogamous, polyamorous people are polyamorous. If anything, it's straight men who are more likely to cheat. I didn't check those facts, but Google it. Bisexuality does not make you more likely to cheat. That's not how that works. It just means you're more likely to be a whore. Also, bisexuality is not just being confused, and it is a valid part of the queer community. This is kind of 2-in-1 that I'm throwing together here, but I think it's just important to consider the fact that there's a lot of communities like this. You know, if you think about non-binary people or like intersex people who exist in between two very like kind of more easy to categorize identities, it can be tough because people don't like to accept the fact that gray areas exist in life. They don't like to accept that there's a spectrum of things in existence. It's just tough the way that there's biphobia and stuff like that when it comes to even being like bisexual people even being accepted, not even just in society, but into the community itself. The LGBTQ, the big queer. Big queer doesn't want the B in the LGB. They are vegan. They do not want it in the LGBTQ sandwiches. The LGBTQ sandwiches. They don't want the bacon there. I think that's where a lot of it comes from, is just this fact that it's hard to accept the fact that there's a gray area of things. But there is, and it exists. But at the same time, guys, I'm on a roll here with these segues. Call me that one guy from Happy Wheels, the way I am on a segue. There's also this thought that people have where it's like, oh, everybody is bisexual then, right? Everybody starts as bisexual. I'm like, no, I don't really think that's the mindset we should approach either. I think, like, sure, it's more accommodating and nice to, let's say, if you're like thinking about like, oh, someone who's like young enough that they haven't come out yet. You could just assume they're bisexual because maybe they could be gay, maybe they could be straight. I'm like, I don't think that's fair in the sense that I don't think any sexuality should be assumed on anyone who's growing up, you know, before they come out, stuff like that. And I don't think assuming bisexuality makes anything better. I think definitely just being very like accommodating and not making those kind of assumptions, which is tough. It's tough to just assume nothing, but it's sometimes nicer in the sense that if you just be very neutral, which I guess could be interpreted as bisexual, so maybe it's not as big of a deal. It's better than saying people are straight until proven gay or queer or whatever, but I don't think any assumption of any sexuality should be put on people before they've come out or said they're something, you know what I mean? Because it's annoying, straight people don't have to come out. Maybe we should make them. This is the month for us, guys. We need to make this happen.
Okay, this is another point I kind of wanted to add in last minute. I'm recording this at a different time. Another misconception about bisexuality is that if you, especially like from the perspective of like a cis straight woman having sex with a bi man, oh my god, you're gonna get STDs. Like that whole thing where it's over exaggerated how much STDs spread amongst not just like gay men or the LGBT community. It is more prevalent, yes, but it is often very much exaggerated as like a scapegoat to the community, obviously. And then also, bisexuals may be having sex with men does not mean that they are guaranteed to give you an STI. People should not be judging bisexuals unfairly or judging any gay people unfairly for the prevalence of STDs because it is often over-exaggerated. But at the same time, everybody can get STIs, STDs, whatever, and it's important that y'all get tested and you guys be safe. Okay? It doesn't matter what your orientation is. And also, you guys know it's not even private anymore, and that's video taking too long to come out.
I think that's everything I kind of wanted to go through. At the end of the day, bisexuality, like any other sexuality or identity, it's just a label. It's just an identity to put on yourself. Everybody's going to take it in a different way. And the same way that people take being straight and being gay in a different way, like everybody has their own interpretation of their sexuality and what that label means when they pick it. Just the way I interpret my own sexuality, it's like bisexuality fit. Hey, what am I even talking about? I think people should be allowed to love who they love, express their attraction, their love to people who they love, consensually, of course. You don't need to pressure people to put on labels that they don't want to have. And I think, especially if you live in a gray area, maybe that label doesn't feel good for you or doesn't feel right for you. This is just about my experiences being a bisexual person and doing a little bit of research. But at the end of the day, it's just a letter and an acronym. It's just bacon in a sandwich. That's all I wanted to say. I just felt like this was important to put out just because I should use my voice as a queer person to try and do something every once in a while. rather than playing Fortnite, which is what I would have been doing right now if I wasn't recording this. I just wanted to say this. I wanted to get these questions out there because now do a little bit of research and then you don't have to ask me questions. Happy Pride Month, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. And please, good luck out there, wherever you are, being a queer person or person of color or any other marginalized community. I wish you luck. I wish love for everybody. Wow, that's me being so genuine and sweet. Look at me. Single people, hit me up. I think that's it. I actually think that was really funny. I think I was on a roll there. Why am I sweating? I don't